Now, everybody who's watching, let's get RBT to 500,000 subscribers by Christmas. He's the best Madden scientist there is. I subscribe to him, and if you don't subscribe to, your favorite team is going to lose to the I'm not saying that team.
So today, we take off the scientific cap and put on a historic cap. As no science today here on the channel, but it's time to buckle up for a little history class today. At this point, I just feel like a professor. I feel like I need to enroll, go to a college, and become a professor. And you guys can enroll and take some official NFL history and some scientific classes. But today, an episode of some, what do I even call this? NFL history? NFL history lesson, dude? I don't freaking know. Beside the point. So today, we do have a video that I have been wanting to do on the channel for a really long time. Reason being is, even as a youngster, I was so obsessed with recruiting. High school football recruiting, like following the high school recruits, the top recruits in the country, seeing where they ended up committing, seeing how their collegiate careers panned out, seeing the players that were rated like a 2-3 star actually end up being the top prospects, best players across college football, and having a lot of the top 5-star recruits end up not even like hardly playing in college. That was all just so freaking interesting to me. Like, even as like a 7th grader, dude, I was in there following Alabama's recruiting classes. And actually, long story short, it's pretty freaking funny. Me signing up to a premium like recruiting website to follow Julio Jones's commitment to Alabama and his whole entire recruiting process, that process led to me coming up with the name RBT that stuck to today, which is just completely insane kind of like thinking about the whole entire process. But I say that to say this, today's video is extremely interesting as we're going to take all 32 current NFL starting quarterbacks and looking at them as high school recruits. Which ones were the top 5-star recruits and actually ended up panning out and going into the NFL after college? And which NFL starting quarterbacks today were like the 1, 2, 3-star recruits that ended up becoming gems, hidden gems, and ended up going beyond college and turning out to be an NFL starter. Disclaimer, it is currently November 23rd, and whenever quarterbacks are slated to start tomorrow, whether it be because of injuries or what have you, they're the quarterbacks that I did take into consideration for today's video. So like for the Panthers, Cam Newton obviously was a 5-star recruit because Kyle Allen is the current starting quarterback for the Panthers. He's the quarterback that we are going to be taking into consideration for today's video. And same thing with the other injured quarterbacks across the league. So whoever's starting for your favorite team tomorrow is the quarterback that will be listed in today's video. So hopefully you guys do enjoy today's NFL history lesson. And if you do, make sure to smash that like button. If you can smash like, let's go for 2,000 likes on today's video. Make sure to subscribe if you are new and turn on the notification bell if you haven't, because if we do hit 400,000 subscribers by Christmas, my Christmas giveaway is going to be absolutely mental. One of the biggest giveaways you've ever seen on YouTube. Be giving away 3 Xbox One X's, 3 PS4 Pros, and that is if and only if we do hit 400K by Christmas. So take that millisecond that it does take to click that subscribe button if you haven't. And also extremely important, you do have notifications on, because once we do hit December 1st, which is literally 7 days away, we're going to be doing 25 days of Christmas on the channel, where literally every single video that I do upload will be giving away plenty of codes, Xbox codes, PS4 codes, Amazon codes, and every single upload. The only way you can get those codes if you're one of the first people to watch that video, hence why you need to have on notifications so you can see when I do upload. But guys, with that said, time to buckle up and learn a little bit of history. Dude, I'm freaking telling you, man, I'm a goddamn professor. Going in alphabetical order today, first quarterback starter of the Arizona Cardinals, Kyler Murray, and the reigning #1 overall pick in the 2019 NFL Draft. Quarterback in the class of 2015, a 4-star prospect, ended up committing to Texas A&M, where he later transferred to Oklahoma. 4-star, was the 5th ranked dual threat quarterback in the 2015 class. The 9th top prospect in the state of Texas, had offers from Arizona State, Auburn, Cal, and Clemson, amongst some other colleges, and ended up ultimately deciding to commit to Texas A&M. The dual threat quarterbacks ranked ahead of Kyler Murray, DeAndre Francois, who's no longer at Florida State, Blake Barnett, who's now a starter at South Florida after transferring twice, and he's more than likely not going to have an NFL career. Travis Waller, who is no longer at Oregon, ended up transferring as well. Same thing with Brandon Wimbush, who actually did end up transferring to Central Florida, but is not the starting quarterback. Going old school here, current starting quarterback for the Atlanta Falcons, Mr. Matt Ryan, who in the class of 2003 as a 3-star prospect committed to Boston College, was the 25th ranked pro-style quarterback in the class of 2003, who only had other offers from Georgia Tech, Iowa, and Purdue before ultimately committing and playing his collegiate career at Boston College as a 3-star quarterback. And talk about an absolute beast, current starter of the Ravens, Lamar Jackson, class of 2015 as a 4-star dual-threat quarterback, ultimately ended up committing to Louisville, was the 17th ranked dual-threat quarterback in the class of 2015, had other offers from Akron, Auburn, Cincinnati, and Clemson before actually deciding to commit to Louisville. Current starter of the Buffalo Bills, Josh Allen, who was actually a 2-star dual-threat quarterback in the class of 2015, where he ultimately ended up signing with Wyoming, the lowest rated quarterback yet, only a 2-star. Only other offer came from Eastern Michigan before deciding to commit to Wyoming. Current starter of the Panthers since Cam Newton is injured, Kyle Allen, who was actually the highest rated quarterback out of high school thus far in today's video, a 5-star quarterback that ended up committing to Texas A&M, and he actually ended up transferring to Houston once he got beat out for the Texas A&M job, but was a 5-star quarterback, the number 1 ranked quarterback in the class of 2014, picked Texas A&M over schools like Alabama, Arizona, Arizona State, and Boise State. Starter of the Chicago Bears, Mitch Trubisky, who out of the class of 2013 was a 3-star dual-threat quarterback who ultimately committed to North Carolina, was the 21st ranked dual-threat quarterback in the class of 2013, and picked North Carolina over schools like Alabama, Cincinnati, Michigan State, and Minnesota, where he all had offers from. Literally every single one of these quarterbacks that I do see that was ranked ahead of him did not even make it to the NFL. JT Barrett as a wide receiver ended up going into the NFL. But aside from that, literally nobody of note was actually ranked higher than Mitch Trubisky. Next, now the starter of the Cincinnati Bengals taking over for Andy Dalton, Ryan Finley. Class of 2013 was a 3-star pro-style quarterback. Didn't even make the top rankings for pro-style quarterbacks. Ultimately committed to Boise State. He played for a few years, then transferred to North Carolina State, where he did end off his collegiate career. As according to his recruiting profile, literally, his only good D1 offer was from Boise State, hence why the man picked him. Now this is the crazy one, starting quarterback of the Cleveland Browns, who ended up being another number 1 overall draft selection. Baker Mayfield was so, unhighly recruited that he didn't even have a picture on his recruiting profile. Class of 2013 listed as a pro-style quarterback, was a 3-star quarterback who didn't even end up committing to a college. He didn't update it because he ended up walking on at Texas Tech before he ended up transferring to Oklahoma ultimately as, once again, another walk-on. But his only offers came from Florida Atlantic, Rice, and Washington State before Washington State had Mike Leach. So instead of going to one of those schools, he ended up walking on at Texas Tech. It turns out he made a pretty good freaking decision. Once again, a very low-rated quarterback that ended up being the number 1 overall pick. Wasn't even ranked whatsoever. And look at this man, Dak Prescott, a young buck here. Came out of the class of 2011 as a 3-star dual-threat quarterback, not even ranked at the position. Wasn't even in the top rankings for dual-threat quarterback. Was the 33rd ranked player in the state of Louisiana. Ended up committing to Mississippi State over LSU, where he did hold an offer. Also had other offers from Louisiana Tech, Louisiana Lafayette, and McNeese State. Brandon Allen, the now starting quarterback of the Denver Broncos, came out of the class of 2011 as a 4-star pro-style quarterback. The 5th ranked pro-style quarterback in the entire country, and the number 1 ranked player in the state of Arkansas. Ultimately ended up committing to Arkansas, staying in the same city that he was born in. And kind of crazy to me, although he was a 4-star quarterback, looks like his only big D1 offer was to Arkansas. Jeff Driscoll, now the starting quarterback of the Detroit Lions, filling in for the injured Matthew Stafford, came out of the class of 2011 as a 4-star pro-style quarterback. The number 1 ranked pro-style quarterback in the entire country, was almost a 5-star player, as he was the 32nd ranked player in the entire class at any position. Ultimately ended up committing to Florida, where he actually ended up transferring to Louisiana Tech for his final year. And after he got drafted by the Bengals, now with the Detroit Lions as the starting quarterback, but picked Florida over schools like Alabama, Arizona State, Auburn, and Clemson, where he all held offers from. Now, here is an interesting one. Aaron Rodgers, starting quarterback of the Green Bay Packers, was a 3-star pro-style quarterback as a JUCO. Ultimately committed to Cal, didn't get any big offers out of high school, hence why he went to JUCO. Cal was his hometown school, got an offer, and obviously the rest is history. Deshaun Watson, starting quarterback of the Houston Texans, one of the highest rated players in all of today's video, came out of the class of 2014 as a 5-star dual threat quarterback, was actually the highest rated dual threat quarterback in the entire country. Second highest rated player in the state of Georgia, ultimately committed to Clemson University over other schools where he did have offers from Alabama, Arizona, Auburn, and Cal. Next, Jacoby Brissett, starting quarterback of the Colts, 4-star dual threat quarterback class of 2011, was the third highest rated dual threat quarterback in the entire country and the 75th overall highest rated player in the entire country. Ended up committing to the University of Florida, where he ultimately ended up transferring to NC State, where he did end off his collegiate career. But out of high school, man, did have offers from Alabama, Boston College, Clemson, and Florida International, which he ultimately ended up choosing the Florida Gators. And for Mr. Nick Foles, I actually learned something. Had no idea out of high school he committed to Michigan State before he actually transferred to Arizona. But Nick Foles, 3-star rated pro-style quarterback out of the class of 2007, was the 30th ranked pro-style quarterback in the entire country and the 99th ranked player in the entire state of Texas. Picked Michigan State over schools like Duke, Louisiana Tech, Ole Miss, and Rutgers, where he did have offers from. Reigning NFL MVP and current starting quarterback of the Kansas City Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes, he was only a 3-star prospect. A dual threat quarterback class of 2014, was the 12th ranked dual threat quarterback in the country, 50th ranked player in the state of Texas, ended up committing to Texas Tech over Houston and Rice, whom were listed as the only other 2 schools that did give him an offer, and Texas Tech obviously made a good decision offering this guy. Some of these players in today's video are too freaking old that recruiting websites didn't exist when they were coming out of high school, so I tried to get as much information as possible, although there's very limited amount. But Phillip Rivers was a 2-star quarterback from Alabama, as Alabama and Auburn really didn't recruit him that much, ended up going to North Carolina State. But crazy, this man was only a 2-star, and both Alabama and Auburn missed on him. Jared Goff, starting quarterback of the LA Rams, the 4-star pro-style quarterback out of the class of 2011, the 8th highest rated pro-style quarterback in the entire country, 15th ranked player in all of California. Ended up committing to Cal over Boise State, Fresno State, and Washington State. Another quarterback that literally you can find nothing on, Ryan Fitzpatrick. I'd be willing to bet that he wasn't even rated out of high school because he ended up going to Harvard. Ended up going to Harvard, having a pretty good career at Harvard. Ended up getting selected in the 2005 NFL Draft. And as you guys know, has had a pretty interesting and, a pretty successful career. Minnesota Vikings quarterback Kirk Cousins was a 3-star pro-style quarterback out of the class of 2011, wasn't even rated to his position. Ended up committing to Michigan State over schools like Colorado, Northern Illinois, Toledo, and Western Michigan. Now, Tom Brady was another one. We all know he's like 42 years old now, so recruiting websites didn't exist when he came out of high school. But according to SB Nation, for how he was in high school, he would have been a 4-star quarterback coming out of high school. Ended up going to Michigan. Didn't actually get offered by USC or UCLA, but Michigan is still a pretty big school, so they'd say Tom Brady was probably a 4-star quarterback coming out of high school. And the quarterback that was the hardest to find any information about coming out of high school, Drew Brees, class of 1997. His only 2 major offers came from Purdue and Kentucky. Ended up ultimately picking Purdue and winning a Rose Bowl with them. Daniel Jones, quarterback of the New York Giants, and a top 10 NFL draft pick. Wasn't even rated coming out of high school. Was a literal 0-star quarterback coming out of high school. Who was actually committed to Princeton until Duke offered him extremely late in the recruiting process. Crazy that a player that wasn't even literally rated, not even a 1-star out of high school, ended up becoming a top 10 pick. Quarterback of the Jets, Sam Darnold, class of 2015, was a 4-star dual threat quarterback, the 8th rated dual threat quarterback in the entire country. Ended up committing to USC over schools like Colorado State, Duke, Nevada, and Northwestern. Derek Carr, quarterback of the Raiders, was a 3-star pro-style quarterback, class of 2009, was the 29th ranked pro-style quarterback in the class of 2009. Ultimately committed and played football at Fresno State and picked Fresno State. He only had 2 other pretty big offers from SMU and Utah. Now, another player that literally has nothing on him coming out of the recruiting process is Carson Wentz, who ultimately ended up being a top NFL pick with the Eagles, now the starting quarterback with the Philadelphia Eagles. And the only thing you can find about him is the fact that he almost went to Central Michigan. He went to North Dakota State, who is a top power in FCS football, but he literally had 0 FBS schools who did offer him. Ended up going to North Dakota State because he really didn't play a lot of football, only really had 1 year of starting experience in a high school, hence why he really wasn't recruited heavily. Next, we have airhead Mason Rudolph, starting quarterback currently of the Pittsburgh Steelers, was a 4-star pro-style quarterback out of the class of 2014, was the 9th highest rated pro-style quarterback in that class. ultimately ended up committing to Oklahoma State over LSU, Louisville, Ole Miss, and Virginia, which he held offers from all of those schools. Next, old Jimmy Garoppolo, starting quarterback of the San Francisco 49ers, was only a 2-star prospect coming out of the class of 2010, was listed as a dual-threat quarterback, where he ended up committing to Eastern Illinois, also the school that Tony Romo went to, as he did not have any FBS offers. The only other offers he had was from Illinois State and Montana State. One of my favorite stories, Russell Wilson, obviously a Super Bowl winner and starting quarterback of the Seattle Seahawks, was a 2-star dual-threat quarterback coming out of the class of 2007. This man was an absolute beast. Only a freaking 2-star, dudes. Wasn't even a rated dual-threat quarterback. Wasn't even in the top ratings. Ended up going to North Carolina State. He ended up actually transferring to Wisconsin to play his final year, where he played in the Rose Bowl. I don't think he won that game. Anyways, his only other D1 offer from a major school came from Duke. Crazy enough, he was recruited by Bill O'Brien of the Houston Texans, but Russell Wilson, wow. Freaking 2-star. Next, we have Jameis Winston, starting quarterback of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and I literally think he is one of the 2 or 3 5-star prospects that was in all of today's video. So very few 5-star quarterbacks end up becoming starting quarterbacks in the NFL. Literally, it's like more 3-stars end up becoming starting quarterbacks in the NFL than 5-stars. But anyways, Jameis Winston, a 5-star dual-threat quarterback class of 2012, was the #1 ranked dual-threat quarterback in the entire nation and the 10th highest rated player in all of high school. Ended up committing to Florida State over Alabama, Auburn, Baylor, and Clemson. Actually was extremely close to going to Alabama, but ended up sticking with Florida State, where he ended up winning a national championship. Next, we have the starting quarterback of my Tennessee Titans, Ryan Tannehill. A 3-star dual-threat quarterback class of 2007, was the 23rd highest ranked dual-threat quarterback in the entire nation that year. Ended up committing to Texas A&M, where he played wide receiver for the most of his career until his senior year, where he converted to quarterback, got drafted, and is now with the Titans, revitalizing his career. But it ended up committing to Texas A&M over schools like Houston, New Mexico State, TCU, and Tulsa. Last but not least, Mr. Dwayne Haskins Jr., now the starting quarterback of the Washington Redskins, a first-round pick in this year's NFL draft, was a 4-star pro-style quarterback out of the class of 2016, the 5th highest-rated pro-style quarterback in the entire country, and actually the 100th overall player in the entire country. Ended up committing to Ohio State over Alabama, Arizona, Arizona State, and Auburn. As with that, how crazy is it looking back and noticing how bad rich, high-paid coaches are at evaluating freaking talent?